Hey, what is up, guys? It is Xantho here, and we're talking about a newly buffed skill in 0.4 that I'm actually going to be league starting, and that is Rapid Assault. So if we search for Rapid Assault here, we see that Spearhead's explosions now deal 249 to 546, previously 142 to 312. Gem levels 5 to 20. This is a monumental buff to a skill that's very underused. I looked in PoE Ninja and throughout Abyss League, I couldn't find like more than 1 or 2 people using Rapid Assault as a bleed skill, because I don't think people realize how you're actually supposed to use Rapid Assault. So Rapid Assault, let's go back up to top of PoEDB here. Go to skill gems. Let's go to Rapid Assault so I can show you how it works. Basically, you just stab with a spear 6 times, and the last strike leaves a spearhead in the target. And you can limit of 5 spearheads stuck on each target. Then with a detonator skill, you use it and it'll detonate for another 312% damage over the base final strike of 312% damage. So this is now going to be 546% damage, which is exactly 75% more at all gem levels. So this is really good early. Extremely good early, actually, as soon as you get a level 5 gem. But the key thing with Rapid Assault that nobody seems to understand is that all of the stuck spearheads combine their damage into one hit when they explode. This is not mentioned anywhere on the gem. It's not mentioned in the in-game video description that shows the skill. Nowhere in the tooltip is this explained at all. But if you have 5 stuck spearheads to target, you're doing 5 times the explosion damage in one single hit, and that hit has a 100% bleed chance. So if we get 546 at gem level 20 times 5, that's a 2,730% damage hit. That's 100% bleed chance. And it gets even better if you have higher gem levels. So I have a PUB here I've put together on Titan that ended up being very similar to Mathel's bleed Titan he made last league. He was doing Rake though. Excuse me. We are going to be doing Spearfield and Rapid Assault. The tree ended up being very similar to his because this is kind of just the best pathing for ailments and bleed on Titan. I couldn't really find a better ascendancy, honestly. You get 15% more life, ton of armor. Hulking form is as broken as always. You start out with melee damage, it's really good. I would advise playing maces up until end of Act 1, and then only switching to spears in Act 2. But basically, this is just bleed, ailments, block, defenses. I'm going to be going with Strict and Command, even though it was nerfed, but it's still going to be very, very good for melee. Extremely good for melee. So without it, my damage goes off a cliff, and so does my armor and everything. So basically 2.4 million bleed DPS with a pretty damn good weapon, but it's only +3 instead of +5. But this is a T2 low T1, I think. I don't know if it's flaring, one sec. Yeah, very low T1, flat, and T2%. Attack speed is just kind of quality of life for Rapid Assault, so you don't get stuck in the animation too long. But this is kind of an easy to put together build. It's just armor, melee gems, life, armored elemental, pretty much basic stuff for any armor stacking attack build. So yeah, 2.4 million DPS seems pretty good, and 16 million damage bleeds. So the way we're accomplishing this is you use Rapid Assault. I have some custom configs here because Rapid Assault doesn't really work in PoB. It doesn't really get the melee tag. So any increases in melee damage do not affect the explosion for some reason, even though it does in-game. So 5 stuck spearheads, 400% more damage. 35% more damage is the buff it got. Heavy swing doesn't work because it's not melee tagged in PoB. And then I'm just using Spearfield for clear. Activate area brutality, bleed, delayed reaction, heft. This is really good for Spearfield. Excellent support, delayed reaction. So yeah, bossing rotation is Bloodhound's Mark. Assault, use it 5 times, and then you use Thunder Sleep, which is going to detonate the spearheads and cause the bleed explosion. And also it's going to shock the enemy because I have a bunch of investment in shock on my weapon set 1. And I have all my bleed investment in weapon set 2. So I'm getting a 61% shock, which is pretty insane. And then it'll last 24 seconds, I think, is the shock duration, because I'm using lasting shock and all these duration of ailments, direct shock duration, all this stuff. So, and up here is just for trying to reflect the ailments for the shock, makes the shock easier to apply. And of course, your constricting command surrounded stuff. Bleed durations for quality of life. Aggravate, because rapid assault hits a ton of times per second, so you can easily aggravate your bleed. You just stab 30 times, which is 5 attacks. Use Thunder Sleep, then continue with rapid assault, and then after a little bit, just use Blood Hunt. With this level of gear, I don't think you're even going to need to use Blood Hunt at all. It'll kill any pinnacle in one single bleed. But Blood Hunt is just there. If the enemy's still alive, use Blood Hunt, and it's going to rip off a ton of more HP. And yeah. I'm not really going to give any leveling tips. I would suggest if you're going to run this build to spec it after you level maces. I'm going to switch to it in early Act 2. I'm just going to go through normal maces, Bone Shatter, Mace Strike, and Rolling Slam in Act 1. And then just swap over to Spears with Spearfield and Rapid Assault in Act 2. So I did some leveling tests in Act 2 with Spearfield and Rapid Assault. And the damage is actually really, really good. With just without the buff. And the buff is going to be 75% more damage for the explosion, which is actually insane. So it's going to be doing really, really well. So I'm just going to leave this POB in the description. I might upload it to Max Roll or something else. I know not everyone has POB on their laptop or computer, so they might be playing on console. But as I said, this is very similar to Mathless Tree, and actually yoinked the from nothing tech here for these 3 points. But yeah, it's armor, iron reflexes, convert, Mon Collins, pretty good tree. And that's basically it. So peace out, you guys.